This should be a fun one. I've created a full team of obscure Wonderkids in FM24. These are Wonderkids that there's a good chance most of you won't have heard of. We've got players playing for AC Milan's youth team to players playing in the Egyptian division. So there really is a broad range. Now the way that I've filtered these players is using the game's reputation system. If you don't know, every player has a reputation. Take Christopher and Nkunku as our example. Don't worry, not someone that I've picked for my Wonderkid list, but if you have the in-game editor under the hood, you'll be able to see a player's reputation on a scale of 1 to 10,000. This guy's reputation here is 8,100, so pretty high. But what I've looked for today is those young stars with low reputation that most people won't know about. So what I want you guys to do is let me know in the comments how many of these you actually knew. I think most of you won't know many of them, but if you somehow know more than 9, then I think you've played too much Football Manager this year. If you do enjoy the video, smash the like button, subscribe for more, but let's get into player number 1. Now, of course, with it being a team, we have to start with a goalkeeper, even though it's the position I like talking about the least in Football Manager because they're just really not that exciting. But I've got a 17-year-old here that has low reputation in game, is actually playing for a pretty reputable club in Fiorentina, valued at about 2 million. This is Tommaso Martinelli, a 17-year-old with good starting attributes, but let's be real, he's got so long yet before he grows into an actual first team level goalkeeper, and that's normal. Most goalkeepers don't start playing first team football until their early 20s, so Martinelli here has plenty of time. Get him for your team if you have the money, if you like the look of him, scout him, see what they think, loan him out, develop him, and when the time comes, give him the chance to shine, and he has the potential to go right to the top. But I promised we'd have players from everywhere, and straight away for our left back, we are jumping to the Egyptian divisions to ENPPI Club. Now don't worry, most of the players in this list should be from accessible leagues. What I mean by that is the ones that you'll likely have in your database, because I can see the comments already. A lot of you guys are going to say, I can't see this player, I can't see that player in my saves. That's because your database size isn't large enough, you haven't loaded in Egypt, for example, and for that reason you might not see these players. But don't worry, there's some, like I say, that are playing for AC Milan in Serie A, so you really should be able to find some of these guys in your save. But let's talk about this guy, a left-footed 20-year-old defender, valued at £1 million, really good ability right from the off, a very underrated player, and not one that many people will know. Mentally, pretty strong, physically, not too bad either, and technically pretty good in the things that you'd want him to be good at. The marking and the tackling he is pretty weak in, but when it comes to going forward, he will do a very good job, and there's a reason why he's natural in all the positions on the left, because he could easily play left wing to a good level. So that's Mohamed Hamidi, our left back. But don't worry if you don't have Egypt loaded, because I'm sure you've got Serie A loaded and Italy, because in the ranks of AC Milan, you can find a Serbian 18-year-old Giancarlo Simic, signed from Stuttgart a couple years ago. This is a defender with a lot of promise and some good starting ability. Is he going to be a world-class defender? I'm not quite sure just yet, but at 18, I feel like he could, you know, because he's got some really good starting attributes, no glaring weaknesses. He's got a great base set to try and build up from where he is now. What I mean by that is he might not be stand out in any area, but he's good in a lot of things, and that gives him room to develop. Obviously, at 18, he's not going to be starting at centre-back for AC Milan just yet, but get him in your team, loan him in, see how he develops. If you do give him game time, particularly at this kind of age, by the time he's 20, 21, you'll be looking at a completely different player. And if you can get him for this kind of money, you will have a bargain. Up next is a very similar option to the left back we looked at, just on the right hand side. This is the £2 million 17-year-old Eric de Silva Moreira, who you can find at St. Pauli in the second tier of Germany. Now once again, he can operate as a right winger, but if you used him as a right back, he might lack a little bit defensively, but he would not do a bad job at all when it came to bombing forward. He's not the final article just yet, but at 17 we're not expecting him to be. He's someone though that if you can pick him up for that cheap, loan him out for a year or two, you will see a much better player by the end of it, and someone that will easily be worth the value. Whether it's playing for you eventually or selling him on for a profit, you're almost guaranteed for this transfer to be a success if you sign him. But he's not someone that many people know about, so I think this will be one that definitely catches you guys out that are trying to keep score of how many you know. But for our final defender, I will say I think this is the most well-known name on the list, so if you don't know him yet, then I'm probably going to do a pretty good job with the rest of these in terms of finding obscure players for you. This is João Fonseca, who has a very low reputation rating in game, valued at about £2.5 million from Portuguese giants Benfica. You can find a very good defender who might not look like too much right now, but every save that I've done, every rebuild that I've done on my channel where I've scouted him, he's always turned into a very good option. But the issue is he never really gets a chance at Benfica, so he's one to scout. Keep an eye on him. If he becomes available, sign him, make sure he's getting some good loans, and he will develop really quickly because he has high potential. In some saves he can go right to the very top and become a world-class centre-back. So check him out, get a scout on him, take a look at him. Not the final article just yet, but at 16, he doesn't need to be. He's got plenty of time to get better, and when he does, this guy is top tier. For our next player, we're heading to Serbia and to have a look at Jovan Civilic, who is playing for Crvena Zvezda, who I believe are Red Star Belgrade. That might be wrong, but I believe they used to be called Red Star Belgrade. If I'm wrong, apologies, but either way, he's playing in the Serbian divisions, he's 17 years old, and he's probably one of the best in this list when it comes to how good he can be, because you can already tell, starting ability-wise, the kid's got a lot. He's only worth 2 million though, on a very small contract, and if you can get your hands on him, you will have a very good player. He's got great attributes already. Again, he's not going to be Lionel Messi just yet. If he was, you'd all know about him. Take Lamine Yamal, for example. We know how good he's going to be, but he's got a big reputation in game. These guys don't. They're not very well thought of, but if you give them the opportunity, they can develop massively. Civilic here has really good technical attributes. The mentals are quite well rounded too, as are the physicals. So if you give this guy a chance in centre mid, particularly in one of the attacking roles like Mazzala on the attack as it suggests, you are going to get some top results. And partnering him in the midfield is an 18-year-old Iraq national. This is Amari Fazl, who is playing for Al Karabakh, a team out in Iraq. A lot of pronunciations here that I'm really struggling with, but they've got a pretty cool badge. Electricity Club, it says, and then some, it looks like it's made on word art. But either way, that is the club he's playing for. You can pick him up for a very cheap fee of, £50,000. He's probably worth way more than that looking at those attributes, but the chances are he won't be in many of your saves. If he is, though, absolutely sign this guy up. He's more than worth the value. This is a player that with a little bit of growth could be a championship level player pretty quickly. I know he's not quite there yet, but his passing is pretty good. He needs to work defensively on some things, but good first touch, dribbling, really nicely rounded mentals with determination. The physicals aren't too bad either. This is a very handy option. If he was playing in the top 5 European divisions for, say, Augsburg in Germany or something, this would be a few million quid you'd have to pay for someone like this. Moving into the attacking positions though, and we have a very talented wide player hailing from Argentina. This is Boca Juniors' 16-year-old Luca Andrade, who can play left wing or right wing. I've spoke about him a few times on the channel, and that's because whilst he does have some major flaws mentally and technically, the holy trinity of first touch finishing and dribbling, he has at a level which players at a 28, 29 can only dream of, and this guy's only 16. He's got all three at a really good level, good long shots as well. Again, he's not world class, he's probably not going to be, but if you can develop the right kind of areas to his game, get that passing up, you'll soon see the passing vision and technique being 11s and 12s. The mentals will develop over time. Before you know it, you'll have a very handy option, and he's not the world's most expensive player either. So scout him, see how he develops, and he could be a really good player for you guys. And just to note as well, you can approach to sign him, so if you don't want to do a transfer and instead just want to pay a compensation fee, that's the way to go. To Brazil, to our next player, to Vasco da Gama, known as VDG in-game if you don't have the name fix. In the Brazilian National First Division, we have the youngster Ryan, who we have done a Wonderkid to superstar on before because he can become so good, but in game his reputation's really low. He's not very well thought of. A 16-year-old who's only a breakthrough prospect at his club, valued at £1 million. What a bargain he would be if you can pick him up. A left footer that cuts in from that right hand side, good technical, mental and physical attributes, all of which can be developed massively still. A great base set to work on. He can have a lot of potential in game too. This might not even be the best version of Ryan that you will see. I can tell you this guy can go right to the very top, so give him a try in your save. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. And as we close in on our final two players, don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to smash the like button and let me know in the comments your favourite obscure Wonderkid that you've found so far. But here's another real bargain for you. Ibrahim Diarra, the Malian 16-year-old playing for Africa Foot, can be picked up for 100k and has some insane attributes for a player this young. 16 years of age, left-footed on the right-hand side, probably some of the best attributes you've seen yet. The mental attributes are all phenomenal. How this guy is this good at only 16, I don't know. If you happen to have him loaded, get your hands on him and you will have an absolute gem of a player, a bargain who is on £0 a week at his current club. You can approach to sign him straight up, give him a contract at your team. You won't regret it. He will be a star in no time, but in-game reputation is super low. Playing in the African divisions, he's not really going to be too well known. But if you can somehow get your hands on this guy, if he is in your save, get him in ASAP and you will have a gem on your hands. But our final obscure Wonderkid, a Wonderkid with low reputation, is Maha Carrizo, who I've never heard of before this video. He plays for Vélez out in Argentina, 17 years of age, can be picked up for a couple of £1 million. Really good natural fitness and some other good physical attributes to go alongside it. Great off the ball work, penalties, finishing and dribbling. Not the final article, never going to be like an Aguero level striker, but he could definitely grow into, say, a high level championship, low level Premier League forward if you can give him the chance. And for that kind of money, he's certainly worth the punt. So get a scout on him, see how he develops. But there we go, there's our obscure Wonderkids for you guys. Wonderkids with low reputation in game. Let me know in the comments how many you knew. If it's more than 9, Get the hell off of Football Manager. You're spending too much time on it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.